Blackmagic Design has added presentations as a new feature in Blackmagic Cloud. This allows you to have review sessions in the cloud with other people who are generally not using DaVinci Resolve. So collaboration has been out for a while. It allows you to collaborate with others in one Resolve project. Presentation, on the other hand, works in the way that you render out your current timeline or segment, whatever you want to discuss, render it out, and you can watch that video with other people that you invite. They can give feedback on it. You can even communicate with them live to discuss a shot. And then you take that feedback and it automatically gets synced back into DaVinci Resolve. This is a very useful tool. It's been announced quite some while ago and now it's finally out in public beta. I couldn't wait to give it a try. I have tried it and I want to show you how it works, explain a little bit how it could fit into your workflow and how it compares to alternative tools that you might consider. I am working on a timeline here in a local project currently. It doesn't matter if it's a local project, network or cloud project. It's about rendering whatever you do, the current progress, rendering it out and sending it to your client for review. And rendering out in this case is as easy as using the quick export. Presentations, the preset is here. Resolution comes from the timeline settings. The only thing you have to do first, as the notice tells me, is go into the cloud and set up a presentation. You have to do that via browser first. And here I am logged into the Blackmagic Cloud and you see presentations is available to me. This is currently in public beta. I'm not sure if it's available to all users. I received an email that I was invited to the beta because I'm an active cloud user. All right, so I have to give my presentation a title, a view, bike, trailer, whatever. And then you see I can select something, but there is nothing in here. Upload clips from DaVinci Resolve. Very intuitive. Let me now go to DaVinci Resolve and close this once and open it again. And now you see this was refreshed and I have the presentation available, potentially multiple presentations if I have multiple sessions going on, and I can export into that session. It's now first rendering my timeline and then uploading it. And that's already it for the setup. Let me switch to the browser again. And you see here, once the upload is completed, I have my rendered video for review purposes. So I can watch it here. That doesn't make much sense because I have it in Resolve, but it does make more sense once I start inviting other people. So here in the settings on the side panel, I can share it. And there is my evil twin, and let me show you now how it looks like. Putting two browser windows side by side, you can see both sides of the collaboration. So the dark incognito window on the side is my evil twin who was invited to this presentation and who can click to review. And now we can directly collaborate here. So watch the video and go to different places and, for example, leave a comment. Let me add a marker. And we have a marker side panel here where we can add comments. And as you expect, you can click to go to the marker and respond. And it's like almost in a chat where you can see each other's messages. And if I go to DaVinci Resolve, you see those markers are directly imported, and they're imported as a presentations marker. So they have a different symbol, and you see the different color. And if you click on it, you see the icons of the collaborators, etc., and see this chat-like discussion that might be going on one frame. Now, if I only use this for commenting and so I can stay in DaVinci Resolve and just use the web browser only to invite people to set up the presentation, and then the people invited can leave their comments in the web and I can continue in DaVinci Resolve. That's totally fine. However, I can also use it for a live review session, and let me show you how that might look like. So if multiple people happen to enter the presentation at the same time, they can chat, but they can, even better, they can enable camera and microphone. And you see we have like a little video chat directly embedded into presentations. Now that becomes powerful once you also start a sync. So if I start the sync here, you see for the my collaborator, we got the sync automatically enabled as well. And now I'm in control as the owner of the presentation. What is real? And can play back. And you see that the collaborator gets the same playback live synced. So I can play and stop and at the same time chat with the other person. Now this would otherwise require a screen share, but discussing video in screen share, often you have problems due to the resolution, due to speed, and then there might be time delay. And even if it works perfectly fine, you don't have the options that you have here to put annotations and markers like from both ends, from all collaborators, and keep them in the loop. In that way, it's much more flexible than having a Zoom call. Now, one serious gap in this tool so far is it doesn't seem to be possible to put annotations directly on the frame, like draw on the frame with a pen or something like this, the way you can do it with the standard markers in DaVinci Resolve, right? You can annotate on a frame. This also works with Frame.io, so I don't think it will be missing here for long. I assume that will be coming. Speaking of Frame.io, that's probably the most serious alternative to this tool. It has been integrated with DaVinci Resolve for quite a while. I've used it in the past. Because it's been around longer, I think it has an edge over this tool in many areas. So it allows you to share media, for example, download media, export frames, send stuff to Dropbox and Vimeo and so on. So these kind of collaboration features and sending files around, that stuff is a bit more developed. I also see that Adobe is going into the camera to cloud area with Frame.io, so they're integrating this further with cameras. It's already integrated with different software solutions, not just DaVinci Resolve, but of course with Avid and Premiere Pro and so on. So it's all in all covering a wider ecosystem. If that's what you want to do, then you will probably for the time being stick to Frame.io. However, very often it's just Resolve users who need to show something to one client, and then you don't need all that stuff around. You just need a way to bring stuff from Resolve to the client and get the feedback back, and that's exactly what it's doing. And the additional feature of that video conference call kind of thing where you can discuss shots live, that is, I think, a really nice thing, which I don't think Frame.io has. Correct me if I'm wrong. A few more things to show you, and I can do that from one browser, which is easier. So we have here that clips level. So right now there is 1. And if I do some changes in Resolve, let me just drop in a title and shorten the timeline or something and export it again. Then you see it automatically appears as a second version here in the clips menu. So you can just select the other version. Now it's not putting in the markers here, so that's a bit annoying. I mean, I can go back to see them, but if you are working on short versions and do version 1, 2, 3, there should ideally be a way to update the footage and still see the commentary immediately. I don't know if they are changing something about that in the future. For now, it's like reviewing something new. Nonetheless, so you can upload as much as you want, as far as I can tell. You can put in and out points to just upload certain portions. You can put multiple timelines in your render queue on the delivery page and upload them all at once. However you want to organize your presentation session here. You do have a basic chat feature as well, which probably goes well with the video chat if you just need to send some link or something. And then here you can temporarily disable a presentation if you want to. Then other people can no longer see the session or join the session. I can still see, I can't operate it. I just see the preview. So it's locked, and then it can be enabled again, and it's always enabled, disabled for everyone. And you see here it's asking me to join. Now I am the moderator anyways. And yeah. Now you see that didn't really work as intended. Okay, looks like I managed to break it, but it is the first day of the public beta phase, so I'm not too upset about it. There are still things that we'll have to figure out as time goes on. So Blackmagic Design hasn't told us yet how much this will ultimately cost and how storage will be handled, how much you can upload, etc. So there are certainly a lot of questions around this and a lot of things where we will see during the beta phase what will come. I also assume that Blackmagic Design will develop some additional features. Those on-frame annotations are certainly very important. It would also be nice to allow clients to download footage optionally. There are certainly other things that could come in. However, if it works the way it works right now, minus the bug, then this tool is already useful for me. And I think I would give this tool preference over Frame.io in many situations, and probably most projects, unless this wider ecosystem of Frame.io is actually needed. Now, today on day one, I will not invite clients to this. Now, if the entire Resolve user base gets excited and tries this out, I'm sure something will go wrong. So let's give Blackmagic Design a few weeks to figure some things out and figure out how the pricing will be and so on. However, I have been using cloud collaboration for quite a while productively. Officially, it's also in public beta. But for me, it's just stable enough. I'm taking some backups just as precaution, but I'm using it and it has been a productive addition. And I think this tool might very well be also a very useful addition to my productive toolkit. Okay, as always, happy to hear your thoughts and feel free to, make YouTube happy so that I see you next time. Cheers.